Hey everyone, and welcome to Hey Lamb, my Mariah Carey dedicated podcast. I am Matt, your host, aka Treacle. Perhaps you know me from my YouTube channel, True Treacle. In fact, maybe you are watching this video podcast on my YouTube channel because you can listen to this podcast where all good podcasts are available, or you can watch it as a video on my YouTube channel. So it is True Treacle on YouTube if you want to check it out as the video version. And also you can get involved on the Hey Lamb podcast Instagram account. So over on Instagram, simply look up Hey Lamb podcast and you can get involved with the stories and comment on posts. Let me know what you think of the episode, and also let me know if you would like to be a guest maybe, or what kind of subjects and topics you would like to hear discussed on this podcast. Okay, so today I am welcoming a guest from my YouTube channel, True Treacle, over here onto the podcast. I'm very happy to say hey to Rémi. Hey Rémi.
Hey, hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to be again on your channel.
Yeah,
on
it's
your
great to...
your new
Yeah.
project, your broadcast.
So yeah, well, this goes on the channel as well. So yeah, welcome to the podcast for the first time, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. For anyone who didn't catch your first appearance, it's the first time we met on camera. You came on to my channel to do a wonderful video all about Mariah Carey's fragrance collection, because you are... I mean, if I've got any questions about fragrances of Mariah's, you're the person I come to. You're the expert in my life when it comes to Mariah fragrances. So yeah, thank you once again. That was a lot of fun to make that video.
Yes, it was a really nice experience. Yes.
And it seemed to be well received. A lot of people appreciated the detail that you gave, and you were reviewing all of the fragrances. And then I tried to, in editing, put in all the photos and commercials and things like that. So it was one of my longer videos, but I think it was really worth making it longer because we got the detail out there. And a lot of people, I've had people message me to say, oh, I'm trying this one. Rémi said that one's good. And so, yeah, the ones that you recommended, people are going out and trying them. So yeah, that was a fun one. I still need to get Ribbon. I'm still trying to find a Ribbon fragrance without it being really expensive shipping it from America.
But for me, it was really actually very fun to be on your channel because I really had connection with lamps, and talk about Mariah Carey and talking about the fragrances and seeing all their reactions. So that was very fun for me.
Excellent. I'm so glad you had a good time. So tell everyone a little bit about you, because when I met you through Instagram, you introduced yourself to me, and through your YouTube channel, which we'll talk about as well, as a Mariah fan and a Britney fan. So let everyone know a little bit about how you came to Mariah's music and when you joined the Lamely.
So actually, I'm also a huge Britney Spears fan, and one night I went out with like to a gay club with all my friends and just having an amazing time and night. And when we came back from the night out, a friend of mine was playing music. And randomly, he started to talk about Mariah Carey. And he was playing We Belong Together. It's like that, like all the iconic, popular music videos. And at that time, I didn't really know a lot about music. Of course, I knew Britney Spears. So when I was looking and listening, I was mesmerized. I was like, oh my gosh, who is she? Why do, actually, I... recognized a couple of songs, of course, it's Mariah Carey, but I wasn't really paying that much attention or being focused. So he just told me very quick all the basic information, I think, just the things that everyone knows about Mariah Carey. And I was like, wow, she is beautiful. And then a couple of a little time later, I think, I don't know if you know the YouTuber Gigi Gorgeous. She has a video where she's doing, I think, I'm not sure, it's been such a long time, where she's doing a morning routine, and she's making some coffee, I think, and in the background they were playing Honey, like the oh honey, so the background, and I was like, oh my gosh, that song, that I thought it was the most beautiful song. And I was looking in the people comments I don't know, and they said the song is Honey by Mariah Carey. And it's And then I looked like the video and I was like, oh my gosh, like the intro of that music video when she's like in her chair. And since then, I was a Mariah Carey fan actually. And then the era was Me, I Am Mariah, the Elusive Chanteuse. So that was the time when I was like, I am part of the family. I am a Mariah Carey fan, and from that time, I started to collect everything.
It's been since 2014 then. I was going to ask you, so when was this when your friend gave you this kind of crash course in Mariah, but you just held up your Me I Am vinyl, and
Yes.
so that was your when it really, really kicked in.
Yes, I think actually my friend introduced me to Mariah Carey like maybe a year before or something. But then she released
Yeah.
Me, I'm a, and then I was like, okay, I need to Google Mariah Carey. I need to do some research. So that's when it all started for me.
So you've been in the club since 2013,
Yes, yes.
2014. It's really interesting to learn when people come into the Lamley
Mm-hmm.
because it's a
Mm-hmm.
conversation that I've had in a previous episode. Those of us that are a little bit older and we've been around for a few more eras, it's fantastic that Mariah is still getting newer lambs and
Mm-hmm.
people that can still find her, years on. And it's always interesting because it will be like, oh, it was a random song on the radio, or there you go, you're finding, Honey in the background, through social media, someone's playing it
Yes.
in the background. A lot of people show Mariah's 90s music a lot of love on social media and they're jamming out, Honey and Heartbreaker and Dream Lover and whatever. So a lot of her music comes round again. And then I love to
Mm-hmm.
hear that people find it, through different ways.
I think it's also because of the part of just fashion in general. When you look at the outfits and the clothing that she was wearing at that time, and I feel like my sister, my little sister, she would like wear the dream lover outfit, the fantasy outfit. When she would be in the store and she would see that, she was like, okay, mine. So I think that's also a part of maybe why.
Now, you and I chat on Instagram. You've got a couple of
Hmm.
accounts. So, which is the one you want everyone to know about? Because one feels like it's your personal one, and the other one feels like it's
Yes.
more connected to your YouTube channel. So, which is the one to tell everyone to go and follow?
So I actually started with like an Instagram page just of like pictures of all my perfumes because I have all the Mariah Carey perfumes, I have all the Britney perfumes. So I started with taking like I tried to take beautiful pictures of my perfumes just like in beautiful settings, and then I wanted to have my own YouTube channel for years, just perfume reviews. So I finally started recently with my own YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel is just named Rémi, and then my perfume page where I just post perfume pictures, but I also tell people on there when I have new videos on my YouTube channel, and it's just called Rémi Fragrance Reviews.
So I'll make sure we get that in the description for everyone. But yes, his the YouTube channel, Remy's YouTube channel is just Rémi, Remi, and the Instagram is Rémi_fragrance_reviews. So I encourage you to go and
Yes.
check those out. In our conversations on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, I was very interested and surprised to learn recently from you, Rémi. You know where I'm going with this because you know what we're talking about
Yes.
today. You only
The
very
shame. The
recently,
shame.
no shame, no judgment. It's a safe place here. It's a safe place. But I
Mm-hmm.
was surprised and interested to hear from you that you've only just listened to the Charmbracelet album. So how did that come about? Was there a reason you've been a lamb for a few years now. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
interested. Is there a reason why you've waited? Tell me.
But the thing is, with me, I'm like kind of old school in some ways. I'm like this generation is like iTunes, Spotify, just very digital listening to music. But with me, something that I like to do is just when I'm traveling, maybe to Spain or I don't know where in the world, or just like in Ghent in Belgium, I like to visit record stores and just look like, do you have Mariah Carey? And it's like, yes, I have Mariah Carey there, and just
Hmm.
look for albums and vinyls. And Charm Bracelet, I just haven't found it. And that's something that I like to do, is discover music and vinyls. I collect vinyls. So that's something that I just like. And then when I have the vinyl, I play it and I really give it a listen. And Charmbracelet, I think it's a combination of two things. And I think it's because I just didn't have Charmbracelet at home, So now, since 1 week, I have Charmbracelet on vinyl, what I love, because I love playing vinyls. And the fact that I feel like Charmbracelet is one of the albums of her that it's like it doesn't have a lot of attention in general. I rarely hear someone of the Lamely talk about it. Mariah Carey like never announces the album in live concerts. Normally she's like, so now I'm going to sing a song of one of my favorite albums, Butterfly. It's my all, or it's Honey. But I've seen her like 4 times in concerts, but I have never heard her say, oh, I'm going to sing Bringing on the Heartbreak by Charmbracelet. And there was also like an interview that I've seen. I don't know the actress, but she's like a huge Mariah Carey fan. And she's like talking about a period of time where she bought Charmbracelet. And the interviewer was like, Charmbracelet? Because he thought the name of the album was kind of funny. Maybe, they were just joking about the album. So I think because it was released after Glitter, that I don't know, I feel like it's one of those albums that people think isn't really, I don't know how to say it correctly. I don't want to offend anybody, but I think it's just one of those lost albums, just like Glitter.
I know what you mean. So yeah, today's topic is the Charmbracelet album, because I want to get some comparison, because I bought the album when it came out in 2002. I don't even want to count how many years ago that was. Someone else can do the math. But I've lived with it, all this time. And we were already friends online, already chatting. And then you sent me the photos. I know you've been waiting. We've all had trouble with MC30 and getting the vinyl that we've ordered and everything. And you held yours up and I've got it. Now I can listen to it for the first time. But you didn't mean like just that vinyl. You meant the actual album, like you've been waiting to have. Because I get what you mean about having like a physical copy.
Yes, but the thing is, I know like the singles, of course.
Yeah.
And I've actually heard a couple of songs, but I am not that. It's not that you can say I know Honey and my all is on Butterfly. But there are, of course, some songs that I'm like, from which album is that? That I have to think. So when I have listened to the album, I, of course, recognize some songs. But for me, it was like the first time that I was just like sitting in a chair, listening to the vinyl, and really absorb the music.
Yeah, the full thing, top to bottom. I think so many of Mariah's albums are like that. For me, some are top to bottom, and I like to go, full track list in order. And others, I don't mind putting on shuffle so much. So I really, I've got respect for you for, waiting for that moment. And you only get to listen to a Mariah album for the first time once. For me, now I'm just waiting on new albums, so.
But she's going to release one. She's going to release one soon. I've seen it online.
Yeah, it looks like she's back in the studio working on some new stuff. So I really do want to get stuck into the album. But first of all, let's just kind of talk about Charmbracelet as a project, because you made a really interesting point there, that it is this kind of overlooked album in some regards. And Mariah herself has, I can't remember which interview, but I have seen or heard her go on record and say that Charmbracelet is a bit overlooked, and hashtag justice for Charmbracelet. And some of her favorite songs, she says about every album, some of my favorite songs are from that album. But Charmbracelet, I think it's a bit tricky because she was still coming out of the woods from Glitter, and then it gets completely overshadowed by the emancipation of Mimi. But Charmbracelet is this really interesting moment, because I don't think she could go just from Glitter to the emancipation of Mimi. I kind of feel like she needed Charmbracelet.
I was thinking the same, but I think with Charmbracelet, one fact, it was released a year after Glitter, what I found to be very fast,
Yeah.
you know? And then the background of Glitter, when she is doing interviews or promoting, it's not about Charmbracelet, the new album, it's about how was your breakdown and was it really that bad and how are you going to change your life and how are you and the tabloids just
Hmm.
actually everything was so negative in interviews, all the questions were so negative. So but actually when I was very surprised because she in the interviews looked very confident, very strong, very healthy. She's like, Glitter, okay, it was not what it had to be, but I'm still Mariah Carey. I'm the legend that I am. She's not saying that she's a legend, but she's like, I don't have to prove myself anymore.
Hmm.
I'm a strong artist. I write my own music. I'm a good singer. This album is very personal, it's beautiful. And she's very confident, and I was really surprised by that. And I have a lot of respect for her for that
Yeah.
because Glitter, she was like nailed to the ground. Like the things that are happening with Britney Spears right now, Free Britney, the things with the royals, Prince Harry and Meghan, people just like to tear people down, like for entertainment, for no reason. Why? Because someone has a lot of success. Like, what's wrong with people? So for her to release an album a year after that and being so strong and looking so good and healthy, and then people still talking about her breakdown and being confident, I have a lot of respect for that. And I think because of that, because they were still talking about her breakdown and all of that, that the album in itself didn't get enough attention, you know?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. It's like the circumstances overshadowed the music, and if you've got 10 minutes in an interview, it's like they're going to talk about what happened, and that even for Eminem to come up by name, like I don't need to hear her talk about him again. She doesn't need to. Let her talk about the music, but at the same time, I do understand the requirements of those people interviewing her because you kind of need to. I think she understood she had to play the game, she had to wipe the slate clean. But I think a lot of I think it's the shorter interviews where they've only got like 5-10 minutes and they just ask. She must have been answering the same questions again and so bored. The only one that I kind of look back on and not enjoy because watching Mariah in interviews is always enjoyable, but watching her during the Charm Bracelet era, I do feel bad for her sometimes for the reasons you've just said. She's having to talk about rumors and clearing up rumors and not talking about the music. But the one that I find did well was the Oprah one because it wasn't rushed, and I think Oprah gave Mariah a bit more space and just to explain that like she had never said no to things in her career before. She always wanted to go to the most countries and do the most shows and do the most promo that she possibly could, and in the end it caught up with her. And then yeah, the conversation went a little bit to how has she moved on. I just want to play a very very quick clip from that Oprah interview.
So what are you doing now to make sure? You were telling us that you're now putting in, you have to have 6 hours sleep.
I made a contract for people to sign that was very cut and dry. I must be taken care of and treated like a person. It's very basic. You know what I mean?
I have to get lunch.
I have to have lunch breaks and I have to, have time to sleep. And I talked to a nutritionist who helped me in terms of, because I've always had problems sleeping since I was a little girl, who helped me in terms of like the foods that I can eat that will help me be more able to sleep, you know what I mean, towards the end of the day and stuff like that.
If you don't sleep, you get crazy.
Yeah, you get beyond that. It's not good for your health.
Do you remember that Oprah performance, or like have you gone back and looked it up? You're fairly new to the album, so have you seen this interview, and what do you think of it?
Yes, I've seen it, and I understand your opinion about the interview, but for me, I found the interview to be a little bit disappointing.
Okay.
Because when you look to all the interviews, it's all about the things that Oprah and Mariah Carey are talking about. It's all about how are you doing now and what was a problem then. there are not a lot of interviews where she's just talking about the album and the inspiration, and because Charmbracelet was recorded in the summer on an island, I wrote it down. She recorded the album in Capri.
Yeah.
So it's very tropical, very summery, but then she released the album in the winter time, actually on 3 December. So that's something that I found to be very strange.
I found the timing a little bit interesting. I think I wouldn't have been mad or surprised if she took more time after Glitter to really sort out everything. She was leaving Virgin, so she needs to sort out her professional situation. She needs to sort out her personal situation. We now know through the memoir just how much was going on, and there are parallels. It's interesting you mentioned Britney Spears. There are parallels there. That's a whole different conversation. But she had a lot of things to sort out, and then to go and make another album, I was very surprised it was so soon afterwards. And maybe it was just the album's done, let's put something out. But releasing it in December felt a little bit strange to me at the time. And looking back, I always have to remind myself, yeah, it was released in December, because it just seems strange.
To me, the album it's summery. It's a vibe. It's like palm trees, looking in the sun, gypsy vibes as well. The clothing to me is kind of a little bit gypsy, and I like it.
I do think the album grew on me. I mean, I loved it at the time. It's a new Mariah album. Very, very excited and very intrigued to see what she's doing after Glitter. Glitter was the era I came into the Lamely, so I'm full on obsessed and everything. But it grew on me even more into 2003, and then of course she did the Monster World Tour. There's so many things to talk about, but before we take a break, one thing I want to talk about is just the lead single first of all. So Through the Rain, I didn't know what to expect, because we always have like an up-tempo fun kind of number, usually like a summer bop, but like we just said, this is not a summer release, so we're in the autumn heading into winter, and Through the Rain comes out. Do you think that was the right choice? Is it because of the message? Like, what do you think of that as being the first single from the album?
I personally think that the first single was really a good move, not maybe career-wise, but just for herself, because she lost her father while recording the album, and I just think that it was at that time for her very important to do it kind of out of love and respect for her father. And when you look at the music video, you get the sunflowers, you get a little story, that I think reflects her life as well.
Yeah, I think it really does reflect what she had gone through, and it's quite symbolic. I have actually got a little clip here of Mariah talking about the choice for Through the Rain being the lead single.
I had so many different options for a first single, and everybody who heard Through the Rain just felt like, because of the positive message and because it was such a hopeful song and so personal to me, that it was just the right choice. And it's nice because all my fans, a lot of fans have been coming up to me and saying, that they really, really feel close to this song and identify it with me, but also it's helped them get through their own personal struggles in their own life.
I feel like maybe Through the Rain wouldn't have been a natural choice for Mariah. She would have gone with something else. But I imagine there were some people with the label. Maybe it was like a bit of a group discussion situation. And this song is going to be your, I hate to say it, but like comeback moment, and to address everything. Like, you need to go on Oprah, Mariah, and sing Through the Rain. You need to have that moment of making it through everything. And again, I felt a little bit not bad for her, but I was kind of questioning, like, does she really want to release this as a single? Because it would have been a lovely album track. I love the song, don't get me wrong. I really like Through the Rain. I wonder if she intended it for it to be something deeper in the album that the fans would really connect with. I don't know whether she ever really, really loved it as a single choice. I don't know. I can't make my mind up.
I found it hard to choose singles. Of course, Boy, I Need You. It's definitely single material because it also stands out to the other songs on the album. All the other songs are very cohesive in my opinion, but Boy, I Need You, I feel like it's different than the other songs.
Well, this is something that I want to ask you. You're reading my mind because you know what my next questions are. I want to ask you about single choices. We'll be right back after a quick break. Hey kids, I want to tell you quickly about a video that just went up on my channel this week that I'm really, really excited by. I got to sit and talk with Steve, who runs the Utah Mariah Carey Museum. Guys, he's got the largest Mariah Carey collection in the land. He's got like 12,000 items, and Steve was generous enough to sit and tell me all about the museum, how it started, where he's going with it in the future, and share some really rare items. Here's a quick peek.
Mariah is a big supporter of the museum. We actually met to discuss the museum after one of her shows. I had the opportunity to talk with her for quite a while about the museum, and she knew all about it and is a big fan of it.
I think it's so incredibly generous that you share everything because, as you say, it's not something that's open to the public. This is a private collection, and it is the most impressive and the biggest private Mariah collection that I'm certainly aware of. So head on over to my channel, True Treacle, over on YouTube, and you can join me as I go inside the Utah Mariah Carey Museum. And we are back. So, Rémi, you started to talk about Boy there as a single choice, and that's exactly where I wanted to go. So, yeah, tell me a little bit more about your thoughts on Boy as a song and the choice for it to be released as a single.
So when you look to Boy, also the music video, actually, it's very modernistic. I don't know if it's a correct word, and it's very fashionable. But then you look at the other songs, other music videos, and these are like kind of gypsy, more neutral, soft. So Boy, I Need You really stands out in my opinion. I feel like it fits Charmbracelet, but in the other way, it doesn't fit in Charmbracelet. I don't know. I found it a little bit confusing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm kind of like halfway there with it. For me, the single choices, there's always this kind of competitiveness between Boy and The One. I don't know if you're aware, but The One was meant to be released. I think that's the one that Mariah was pushing for. And in fact, they started shooting the video and it was going to be The One. And then some of that footage just ended up being in Boy. Like they're shooting the music video and they don't know which song it's going to be type thing. So there's a little bit of push and pull. And I feel like The One was more Mariah's choice, and perhaps The One would have been a song that she wanted to possibly be the lead single. People can get in touch and let me know. I've watched some videos ahead of doing this podcast, but I can't watch them all. There's so many. But I feel like it's somewhere in the back of my brain, I have this memory that Mariah wanted The One to be released, possibly as the lead single, but then we ended up with Through the Rain and then Boy. Out of the two, out of Boy and The One, I do prefer The One. I just enjoy it more, but I feel like maybe Boy is a little bit more commercial, and it's interesting that she was taking Cameron's song and it's like almost like redoing her version and throwing it back at him, but more than that, he's on the track with her, so it was interesting. And I love that video. I really do love that video so much, but that's more of the video. Like a lot of the video concept could have been for The One. I could be sat here saying I love the music video for The One. It's so fresh and modern, and I love the whole Japanese vibe. I do like Boy. I'm not massively in love with it. I'm sorry.
But to me, Boy is the most commercial song on the album, in my opinion. To me, the other songs are to just sit in a chair outside in the sun with a cocktail and relax and swim in the pool and have friends over. And they would be like, oh, that's nice music. It's very romantic. But Boy, I Need You is like a song you want to hear on the radio in your car. And like, boy, yeah, you know, it's one of those songs that you're like jamming to with your friends.
Okay, so let's move on to the rest of the album. Tell me your favorites. Tell me, are there any that you skip, any that you love less than others? Did you have, any standouts?
So my favorite songs, because for me, the album is very fresh.
Yes.
And also, I don't really have like all favorite songs. To me, one day my favorite is that song, and the other day it's that song. When
Okay.
people say, "What's your favorite Britney Spears song or favorite Mariah Carey song?" Yeah, it changes a little bit with me. But
Okay.
and at this time, it's yours, and you had your chance.
They're your
That are
favorites.
my favorites. Yes.
They're your current favorites. They are your current favorites. Might be different next week. Might be different next week. I remember listening to yours and I was like, wow, this feels like hyper feminine, really feminine, very pretty. And it's early on. I was like, oh, it's kind of like reminding me of Bliss on Rainbow, just in terms of vibe and where it's feeling, super romantic, like that hyper feminine. Really, really love it. You had your chance, grew on me a little bit, and I'll say a lot of this album like really did grow on me because you said earlier, I think you said everything is quite cohesive, and I agree with that. My problem at the time was, for me at the time, just being honest, this is just my opinion, I felt like there wasn't as much variation on the album as perhaps was needed, or maybe just some of the songs were a little bit samey. I don't know, like to have Boy and The One and You Had Your Chance, and I don't know, that I just struggled, and it actually, a lot of the criticism that came up from the album, a lot of the reviews and critiques were saying that it was all very whispery, very breathy, and I thought, is it actually the vocals rather than the songs that I'm not getting enough variety from? What are your thoughts on that?
That was something that I always also noticed, the singing, because when there was she did a performance. I don't know on which show actually, but she was singing "Through the Rain," I think, and another song, and then she was singing "Make It Happen." And when she was singing "Through the Rain" and the other song, I noticed that she wasn't feeling very confident with her voice because the songs are very breathy, very intimate. And when she was like, "Make it happen," it was like, "Make it happen." And she could like use her voice and be very strong. And I feel that she is the most confident when she can really belt it out and just be strong
Mm,
vocally.
mm.
So I think that album vocally is an album that is more difficult for her to sing live. Maybe I don't know if that's correct.
That's a good point. And I think just because it's breathy and it's more delicate doesn't mean that it's like she's not trying or she's not putting the effort in. If anything, it's more control. I think if you look at, she sings Yours live, I think it was on the Today Show. She's wearing that light blue kind of turquoise top and the jeans with embroidered flowers down the side. And she's got, oh, I love the charm bracelet hair. Anyway, she looks great, and she sang Yours, and it really is like, when you watch her sing that song live, it's very breathy, very controlled, and then we've got the whistle notes, and it is technical. So a lot of people rag on the charm bracelet vocals because it's a bit more subdued, but I think she even said in interviews, I don't need to be belting all the time. Belting is boring. I get bored. But I think she did take some of that kind of feedback on board, because then when she came back, I know we're talking about Charm Bracelet today, but when she came back with Emancipation, I think something like Mine Again was like a statement song. Like, you all said I couldn't do it anymore. No, Charm Bracelet, I chose to sing like that because that's what I wanted to do with the album. But Mine Again, I'm going to shut you up and I'm going to show you I can still belt.
But the thing is also when you look at the time frame, so Charm Bracelet is from 2002, 2003, that time. The music was very, like, I'm going to say her name again, Britney. At that time, you like the baby voice was at that time so popular. All the
Mm.
artists had to have voices of little girls. So I know Mariah is like, I don't do trends and I'm an artist myself, but I think there must have been something like, okay, I need to adjust this myself a little bit, but still stay myself.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. And this is why I love discussing it with someone else and someone who's fresh to the album, because I mean, having this conversation, I'm reminding myself that yes, it's very breathy. Yes, you said cohesive, and I'm like, yeah, I always thought they're samey, but I've never heard someone put it to me like that before. That actually that reflects what was like a trend at the time. And although Mariah stays true to herself, she's got her ear, and that's, you know, she chooses who she wants to work with, who's fresh, who's current, who's interesting to her. And if there is a trend and she finds it interesting, she wants to play with it a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. She's not changing who she is and changing everything that she does just to be commercial or just to be popular. But I never really reflected actually on what was happening in the early 2000s. Are there any songs on the album? I'm just interested because you've only listened to it a certain number of times at this point. Any that you feel that you haven't really, taken on board properly or fallen in love with yet? I'm not going to say don't like. If there are any that you don't like, of course you're free to say. But are there any songs that need a little bit more time to grow on you?
Actually, the cover one, I just
Bring
lost
on the
the
Heartbreak.
title. Yeah.
Remy, that's one of my highlights. Let's not fall out. No, go on. You tell me your thoughts on Bring on the Heartbreak, and then I'll tell you mine. Go ahead.
It's just, I don't know. It's a cover of like a rock song, and like she said in interview, she just liked the lyrics of the song itself, not the rock part, and she wanted to make it her own. And I get that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not that into rock music. It's just, yeah. I don't know actually. Because normally when I listen to music, when I play albums, I always need like 2 listens of an album to really get into the album. But with Charmbracelet, actually for the first listen, I was like, that's a really good album. But I don't know, that's just the one song that in my opinion, I would like the song to be more soft. Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I love how big it is. Right, I have a little clip of Mariah talking about that cover, actually. So we'll hear what I think after this.
Only certain people really knew that song because it wasn't like a number one in America or whatever. But I just had this idea to remake the song and not do it as a heavy metal band would do it, but do it like with orchestration and incorporate some of those rock elements, but add my thing to it, like do the background sort of more like choir-y and have the music be more of just a bed for my vocals. And, I just liked it. I just really thought it would be something different,
I remember when she spoke about it back, in the day, it did feel a little bit random, and because it just feels like it came across, I wanted to do a cover, and I've always liked that song, which is fair enough, but there wasn't like any really strong special connection that was coming out. So it did feel random, but I really liked it because it was different. And it got people talking. If there was like, some positive, like, oh, she's doing Def Leppard, like people were picking up on that in the press and they were talking about it. I remember I was in the audience for MTV Presents Mariah Carey. I've spoken about it before. I won't bore everyone with the same story. But there's a question and answer section, and she talks about it a little bit. And she just gets across that she just wants to do something different. And I'm like, after Glitter, do what you want. Like, you've tried to do, your thing with Glitter. You've put so much energy and love into a project, and everyone's kicked off and it hasn't worked. Like, do whatever you want. And I almost wish that she was braver and did even more, unexpected things. There were rumors that she was going to do like a live EP. And that's how Charmbracelet started out. Just like have a band, do something live, just to kind of go back to her roots. And for me, she could do anything after Glitter, and I would be happy for her to try something new. So for me, that's what I took away from Bring on the Heartbreak. It was something new. I love a ballad from Mariah. I'm always a sucker for a ballad. And the fact it was like a rock ballad and just really, really big. And it just builds that whistle note at the end. It just fits so perfectly. And I was lucky enough to go to all 4 UK dates of the Charmbracelet World Tour, and Rémi, it was amazing in concert. They turned the volume up. She wore the red dress from the music video, and it was kind of like Mariah Carey concert meets a rock concert, and it just felt crazy. The energy and the volume, I've never had that kind of vibe in a Mariah concert since. It was so crazy.
So to Mariah Carey, if you are listening, bringing on the Heartbreak live in concert, next concert, Mariah Carey.
Bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back. Bring it on the Heartbreak.
Bring it back. I love it so much. So we had Through the Rain as a single, and yep, I think that was a sensible kind of tactical choice. Boy won over The One. I would have preferred if The One had been selected. Bring on the Heartbreak, I think I'm happy that was released as a single because it gave a bit of a spotlight to a song that I think was a smart choice. You're wondering, but you're new to the album, Remy. It's still time for it to grow on you. Maybe next week you'll tell me it's one of your current favorites. And then also the other single, when the album was re-released as a special edition, we get I Know What You Want with Busta, which doesn't feel like, it's not a Charmbracelet song. It's not even like a Mariah song. It's Mariah on Busta's song. But I'm like, yeah, put that on the album when you re-release it, because that song did really well. I think here in the UK it got to number 3. I should know that. I want to say number 3. But I Know What You Want, it feels weird on the special edition. Like it's on CD and it's on digital, but I don't count it as part of the album.
I don't know, actually. I think I have a different opinion. I really love that song.
I like it. I just don't think it fits on the album.
I think it fits. To my opinion, it fits. I don't know why. Yeah, but the song, it was released between Charmbracelet and the Emancipation of Mimi. It was between that.
And then when they repackaged it, because we got Miss You and I Know What You Want. In fact, there was a big mess up. I wonder if any listeners remember this. So when the Charmbracelet special edition was released and we got Miss You and I Know What You Want, they used the wrong version of I Know What You Want, because when it's on Busta's track, they have like transitions in and transitions out. And at there's extra things. So it's not like song ends, song starts. There's like spoken word and like whatever. Well, at the end of I Know What You Want, there's Busta kicking off and like swearing and stuff, and like to go into like the next track. There's a lot of F-bombs, and it's Busta very, very angry. And when they pressed the CDs for Mariah's Charmbracelet re-release, they used that version. So you go from Through the Rain all the way through Sunflowers, Through the Rain remix. It's very beautiful. Then you get bonus track, and then you get I Know What You Want, and then the last thing you hear is Busta Rhymes shouting and swearing. I remember listening with friends, and we all looked at each other in horror.
So it was pressed on a CD, and you bought the CD, and it was on CD.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We bought the CD and we listened to it. And in fact, Mariah was in the UK promoting at the time. And we listened to it and we were like, do we tell her? Because we're going to see her. We're standing outside hotels and trying to get into TV studios. It was in that period of my life. And we were like, do we tell her? Because she's going to be upset. Like, or should we tell like someone on her team? Because there's no way Mariah knew that or approved that. That was just a mistake.
I found it kind of hilarious. But it's very funny that you're telling me this story, because this week I was just looking online on YouTube and I found a performance when they're singing the song. But it's like a Busta Rhymes concert, and he's like doing his thing. And there were some problems with Mariah Carey's mic. So in the background, he's like rapping, and you hear her say, the mic isn't working. I hear nothing. And then she says something of like, the mic is stupid, she said something, the mic is, and then she's like coming on stage, and it's so clear that she has like problems with her mic or her inner ears. I don't know why. And it's a hot mess.
I think of all the years Mariah has been, working, that she's not really been caught out by technology too many times. Obviously, there's certain performances that come to mind that we won't name them. But in terms of, like being backstage and a microphone being on that she is not aware, a lot of celebrities have had things leaked. They think that the interview's over, they think the microphone's off, they talk to their assistant and say, what the hell was that, whatever. Mariah, I don't feel like has had any or many of those, but I know exactly the clip you're talking about because I very recently saw it again. Well, for the very first time. I've never seen that clip before, and that really surprised me. We are going to continue our talk about Charmbracelet after another very quick break. We'll be back right after this. Did you know that the Hey Lamb podcast has an after show as well? I like to keep the main show to around an hour, just under an hour, but I like to chat. I really like to chat with my guests, and we always go overtime. So what I do is I take that extra footage, take that conversation, and I make it into Hey Lamb Extra Chop. And that is the after show that goes up on my YouTube channel for my channel members. Last week, I was chatting to Josh all about Britney, and Josh is the lamb who inspired me to make that video about my dream Mariah concert. He set me the challenge. He said, come up with your dream concert set list. So in the after show, he rates my set list and then talks me through his as well. So that was super fun. So if you want to support this podcast, support my Mariah dedicated YouTube channel, you can become a member of my YouTube channel for as little as £1.99 per month. You can try it for a month and then cancel it if you're not feeling it. But members get extra content from the podcast every single week. They get the after show and they get extra bonus footage from other videos, some early access to videos and things like that. So if you want to support the podcast and the channel, why not consider becoming a member of my YouTube channel? When you're next on True Treacle on YouTube, just check out the link in the video description on any one of my videos. And on that note, I'd like to say a quick thank you to everybody who is a member of my YouTube channel. I really do appreciate your support, and shout out to my top supporters, Justin Domingo, Nicholas Di Sabatino, and Sarah Denny. Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot so much for the support. You are the best. Okay, so we are back. Charmbracelet, did it do the job that it needed to do? Because she needed to come back after Glitter, and she needed to get her confidence back, get comfortable. And I think looking back, I've heard Mariah describe Charmbracelet as like a cocoon. You know, if Glitter was the storm, Charmbracelet was the cocoon that she went into to heal and to mend and recover. And yeah, it didn't produce smash hits, lots of, big commercial success, but she needed that album to then move on. And then look what she did afterwards. So although it does get overlooked, as you said at the start of this conversation, and we need #Justice for Charmbracelet. I've got so many wonderful memories with that album. My first photo with Mariah was when she was promoting Through the Rain. I've got a Through the Rain promo CD signed to Matt, Love Mariah. I went to the world tour, so I'm biased. I have got lots of memories, but on the strength of the music, it's not a bad album, and it set her up to go on and do what she did. So I feel like it did do what it needed to do. It served its purpose. But at the same time, it's not the album that I reach back to and listen to all the time, if I'm honest. It's not in my top 5. Is it in my top 10? I don't know. How do you feel?
But the thing is that Mariah Carey, she has so many albums. Isn't she? Is the next album that she would make, isn't it her 16th album? Yeah. That's so many albums, And the thing with Charmbracelet, actually, it sold really well, I think.
So would you like to see Mariah bring Charmbracelet songs back into rotation a bit more, with like concerts? So which ones would you like to see her perform next time she tours? If you could ask for her to do a couple, what would you like?
I would like her to sing Boy, I Need You, and then Yours. Because Yours is so soft, I want to just, like laying in a chair, like on the picture in the vinyl. The picture vinyl, yes. Where she's like laying in the chair, just very soft and elegant.
When she did the world tour, we did get a number of songs. We definitely got Through the Rain. I'm trying to remember.
Of the Charmbracelet world tour, there are like no videos online.
Oh, Rémi, it's a real sore point because they were going to release a Charmbracelet World Tour DVD because she did, I think it's 69 shows in 8 months. It was the best part of a year. For her to do any shows outside London was a massive thing in the UK. She was in Scotland, Birmingham, Manchester. She really did tour comprehensively. And I think, a lot of people credit the strength of the Emancipation album vocals with the fact that she was exercising her vocals so much on the Charmbracelet World Tour. It was such an amazing tour, and the fans really, really wanted a DVD. They said they were going to release a DVD. I can't remember how it was said, but I feel like she was saying it and we were told to expect it. I think some shows were definitely publicly, like openly, we knew they were being recorded. I've got Paris in mind. Guys listening, help me out, let me know. But I know Paris was recorded, and there was some other, definitely in Europe, some of them were recorded, and then it came to nothing. It was an amazing tour, and we don't have a DVD.
But on online on YouTube, it's like nothing. I found like one video that is just the whole concert, but just the audio, and it isn't the best quality because I think it's just a normal camera filming.
It's a missed opportunity, I feel, and it would have been amazing for Charmbracelet within MC30 to have even just a couple, because she's got them recorded in wonderful quality because she had it done professionally by her own team. So maybe on like her YouTube channel, maybe not a full-on DVD, because who buys, that's the whole, you got to make money to you got to spend money to then put that out and make money, but just put it out digitally or something. I'd buy it off iTunes for whatever, just to have it. But it is a shame. It exists, and maybe one day, because the tour was great. We got My Saving Grace, Through the Rain, I Know What You Want. Oh, Subtle Invitation, where she came down and she wore the white dress and she came down like a hammock. It was like a big, like a sling, like a swing, and she's comes down from the ceiling, and it's white fabric, and she's wearing a white dress, and it slowly lowers her down from the ceiling as Subtle Invitation starts to play, and then it drops her. It brings her gently onto the piano, and then she lays on the piano as Subtle Invitation continues, and then when it really kicks in, then she starts running around the stage with the. So there were some great moments, and I mentioned Bring On the Heartbreak with the red dress and the high volume, and yeah, I would pay some decent money to get a DVD to see that tour back.
So that's something that people like me who recently discovered Mariah Carey, or they can't see those things and discover those things. So
you would love it. You would love to see the Charmbracelet tour. I could talk about Charmbracelet for loads more time, but we are starting to run out of time. And I do need to play my game with you, Rémi, which is a part of my podcast. So it is time now for Spin, Pin, or Bin. Okay, so this is Spin, Pin, or Bin, and these are the rules. I'm going to randomly select on my phone 3 Mariah songs, and you have to pick one to spin, one to pin, and one to bin. And everyone listening, you can play along as well and let me know on the Hey Lamb podcast Instagram account what your choices are. So, spin is your favorite. Yep, love it, play it. Play it now, spin it. Bin, you have to throw it away and you never get to hear that song again. And then pin is in the middle. I'm not going to play it right now. I'm going to save it for later, put a pin in it, okay? But Rémi, your edition is a special edition because we've been talking about Charmbracelet. So today I'm only doing Charmbracelet songs. So this is a special edition. It's the Charmbracelet edition of Spin, Pin, or Bin. So I have the songs here listed on my phone. I'm going to hit the random generator. Here we go. Okay, the first song is Subtle Invitation. The second song is Sunflowers for Alfred Roy. And our third song is Irresistible. Okay, Subtle Invitation, Sunflowers, Irresistible. You got to spin one, pin one, and bin one. What do you think?
Oh my gosh. It's not. Oh my god! How do I start with that? I think that the one that I want to play immediately is Flowers to Alfred Roy.
So you want to spin Sunflowers? Yeah.
I just think because the meaning behind it.
Yeah.
I think it's a very, one of the most important songs on the album.
Yes.
Yes, so that's the reason why.
And I'm going to agree with you on that one. My spin is also Sunflowers because it is so beautiful and it's very, very personal. A lot of her music is personal, but you know, you can't get more personal than Sunflowers. I've got such respect for that song. So I agree with you. The spin is Sunflowers. So that leaves Subtle Invitation and Irresistible. You've got to bin one of them. What's it going to be?
It's difficult for me.
Well, maybe if I go first and then you can either agree or disagree.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's only two songs, there's only two choices. I am going to bin Irresistible because I don't need that on the album. I could happily skip. I think on my album rating video, I did select it as my skip. I would rather listen to Boy, I'd rather listen to The One. I could quite happily skip Irresistible, and I'm going to pin Subtle Invitation. Actually, that's a perfect choice for me because Subtle Invitation is a very good example of when I said the album had to grow on me. I didn't love Subtle Invitation at the time, but I was young and naive and ignorant to it. Now, later in life, I love that vibe. I love it so much. So I'm going to agree with you to spin Sunflowers. I'm going to pin Subtle Invitation and I'm going to bin Irresistible. What are you going to do with Subtle Invitation and Irresistible?
I think I'm going to choose the same as you.
Fair enough.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you for playing Spin, Pin or Bin. Rémi, it is always a pleasure to chat with you. I love catching up with you on Instagram. Let's just remind everyone of your YouTube channel, which is just simply your name, Rémi, so Remi, guys, and go and check out the corresponding Instagram account. So it's Rémi_fragrance_reviews, because as you said earlier, when you have got new content on your YouTube channel, then you'll talk about it there on Instagram. Quickly tell everyone a little bit about what's on your YouTube channel.
So my YouTube channel is it's supposed to be a channel where I talk about my perfume collection because I have a lot of celebrity perfume. I have a lot of celebrity perfumes, like the Mariah Carey perfumes. So I'm actually planning to this summer to do the whole Mariah Carey collection, but every perfume separately, just very in depth and like try to make beautiful visuals. But I'm also talking about my music collection because I also collect vinyls. So it's like vinyls and perfumes on my channel. And I have actually quite a bit of Mariah Carey vinyl videos because of MC30. Yeah, I don't buy all the albums at once because to me it's a little bit too expensive for me because I just have my first job and all. So I try to I just bought EMC Square this week, and then the week before I bought Charmbracelet. So I'm trying to do it like
you're spacing them out, and hey, I mean, we've all had difficulty getting them to arrive. So just because you order it doesn't mean you're going to have it anytime soon.
I still don't have the emancipation of Mimi.
I feel really bad for you, Rémi. You message me every so often. You say, do you have any news? I'm like, I'm sorry, darling, I don't. But you're not the only one. It's all I can say to you is you're not the only one. There are so many people still left waiting. It has been painful, but it is worth it when they arrive. And I love the fact that on your YouTube channel there is a mixture of content because you're a Mariah fan, you're a Britney fan, they've got fragrances, they've got albums, there's vinyls, so it's not just like one thing. There's an interesting mix. So guys, do go and check out Rémi on YouTube. Rémi, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you on Instagram, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yes, bye. Thank you, everyone.